Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, Controller General of Customs Adewale Adeniyi meets on proposed Customs Zonal Office in Ogun State. Practitioners declare Mpox health emergency plus 3 kingpins, 16 others back 302 years jail sentences for drug trafficking. Hello, good evening, and thank you for joining us on Channel 12 News at 7. I am Yemi Dalimo. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun says the proposed zonal office and training school of the Nigeria Customs Service at the Gateway Agro-Cargo International Airport in Remo will serve as a game changer for the socio-economic development of the state. Governor Abiodun stated this while taking the Controller General of Customs Bashir Adewale Adeniyi on an inspection tour of the facilities in Ileshan Remo area of Ikenne local government, Ogun State. Meanwhile, the Ogun State government has reaffirmed its commitment to evolve mechanism that will further solidify the harmonious synergy with the public servants to strengthen effective service delivery and aid social economic development of the state. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun stated this at a symposium climaxing the 2024 Public Service Week in the state. Lekon Agbode reports that a former head of service, Princess Iyabo Odulate, delivered the keynote address at the symposium.
With the theme, Building a Socially Responsive Public Service in the 21st Century, the Place of Ethics and Values, the symposium brought the week-long Public Service Week to a memorable conclusion. Governor Abiodun expresses his admiration for the dedication, commitment, professionalism, and hard work of the state public servants as worthy partners in successful implementation of policies and programs of government.
We all know that industrial harmony is crucial to economic prosperity. Therefore, it is essential that all of us as stakeholders work together and play our part in the building our future together agenda to move our state forward.
Keynote speaker, former head of service, Princess Iyabode Odulate, says effectiveness or otherwise of any government administration is a reflection of its public service, which at the long run is a product of how it embraces ethics and values.
Ethics and values help public officers ensure the achievement of the highest possible standard in all services rendered to the public. It does not only provide guidelines, whether internal in the form of values and external in form of codes of conduct for appropriate behavior, but also ensures that public trust is earned and maintained.
Panelists agree that ethics and values in the scheme of public service in the 21st century cannot be luxury or option, but necessities crucial in engendering a desirable society.
That man being a rational and social being, we must live together. But whatever we are going to put into the public service, one thing we need to know is that the outcome will either build the state or the nation or tear it down.
For us to be able to execute your project and policies for the benefit of the larger society, welfare and well-being of workers must be upheld.
At work, our values should be such that would help us to be the best version of a public service that we need to be.
The head of service, Mr. Kehinde Onasoya, acknowledges the robust synergy with the present administration under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun, pledging continuous commitment on the part of workers for better Ogun State.
I therefore join us as beloved fellow public servants to continue to be up and doing. Let us continue to conduct ourselves with decorum and integrity in the discharge of our duty.
The United Nations are designated 23rd of every June as a public service day to celebrate the values and virtues of the civil and public servants. Ogun State has keyed into this to provide avenue and platform to celebrate the state workforce with series of programs and activities. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
Still in Ogun State, the Ogun State government has released the list of members of non-statutory board recently appointed by Governor Dapo Abiodun to run various boards in the state. In a statement by the Special Advisor to Ogun State Governor on Media and Strategy, Kayode Akimade, the appointment covers Ogun State Waste Management Authority, Ogboma, Ogun State Agricultural and Multi-Purpose Credit Agency, Osamka, Plant Gate Limited, and Ogun State Alternative Medicine Board. Membership of Ogun State Waste Management Agency, which has Mr. Ajibola Kaka as its chairman, includes Prince Salako Olaleko, Mr. Iroko Ganiu, Adeviso Kazim, Are Fagade Ajibola, Otemolu Shehu Olakunle, Akovoyan, Olubode Bankole, and others. The statement also lists members of the new Osamka board to include Shodendi Kunle as the chairman, Olaonipekun Tajudeen, Akinsho Oluchesi, among others. For Plant Gate Limited, members are Mukaila Olubuyi Bello with the chairman, Nuberu Adesonya Olufemi, and Adeleye Jimo Pelumi were members of the board. Now to Citadel of Learning. The technological deconstruction of the mass media remains global reality. Hence, proprietors and managers of the mass media industry, particularly the broadcast media, must evolve strategies to mitigate the negative impact of technology on the operations of the industry. This was the submission of Professor Ayodele Odunlami, Professor of Broadcast Journalism at the Olabisi Odubaji University at Goiwe, while delivering the 119th inaugural lecture of the university. Anthony Gandunu reports.
The lecture, according to Professor Ayodele Odunlami, was aimed at contributing to the discussion on media practice in Nigeria, especially refocusing attention to the changing nature of the mass media and the implications of emerging trends for media practitioners and scholars. Professor Odunlami, who noted that the mass media are not only products of technology, but also technological-driven, cautioned media practitioners not to allow technology, no matter how creative or ingenious, outpace or replace human intellect.
Similarly, in several other studies, I examined the impact of information communication technologies on media practice by highlighting the need for Nigeria, while joining other less developed countries in Africa and the world, to embrace media globalization, to be mindful of the dangers of media imperialism inherent in such gestures.
Some key players in the broadcast journalism and mass communication in their views agreed that if the recommendations were implemented, issues of fake news, which has grave implications on national security, will be fully addressed.
Those that are in conventional media practice, they need to really brace up. Owners must ensure that they show up the equipment level and the training of those practitioners.
We need to dig deeper, go the extra mile, and give something ordinary from what has happened from that event, so that the whole world will know that indeed you have done something extraordinary, different from the usual 5 Ws and 8. So I think that is one of the greatest takeaways from that lecture.
The institution's Vice Chancellor, Professor Ayodeji Agbola, in his address, warned the general public not to spread or repost any information they are not sure of the source, as such could lead to misinformation, propaganda, or fake news. The title of the 119th inaugural lecture is Removing the Ancient Landmarks, How Technology Deconstructs the Mass Media. In Ijebu-Ode, Anthony Gandunu, NTA News.
Now to health. Intensifying surveillance across the country, as well as reporting cases of rashes for risk profiling to curtail the spread of mpox in Nigeria, has been re-echoed on Good Morning Nigeria. The guests are emphatic that though the strain in Nigeria at the moment is less virulent, health workers must be on high alert given the unpredictable nature of the virus to mutate. Lydia Sampson reports.
Though mpox is highly transmitted through sexual contact, medical experts are urging Nigerians to be cautious, prepared, and continuously wash their hands and use sanitizers to contain the spread of the disease in Nigeria. They are optimistic that if lessons learned in curtailing Ebola and COVID-19 are deployed, Nigeria can contain the disease.
Mpox is not like COVID that is spread through, by aerosol and others. But this one is contact. You have to come into contact, either skin-to-skin contact or sexual contact and all this. So it makes it much easier, to really, protect yourself from mpox. But unfortunately, and that is the most important aspect there, almost 80% of the cases are mild.
We have that collaborations and we have the exchange program whereby we can support the other countries, and that is why we have the system in place whereby each member country have what we call the search staff. We call it rapid response register for each countries. Then the African country have the central one whereby they look at what individual country have in terms of capacity to be able to support other countries.
The guest reiterates continuous health education to equipping the people with knowledge is critical.
We need to be able to produce our vaccines. There may be a time when we would need to vaccinate people against mpox because there's a vaccine for it.
Okay.
But again, the most important vaccine is our attitude. Hygiene conscious, wash your hands as frequently as possible, be clean, personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, environmental sanitation, keep your ears open so that if you hear of something that could affect you, you respond appropriately.
Tracking coordinated response amongst countries, the health experts acknowledge must be expanded. They also emphasize the need for more funding and equipping of primary healthcare centers for proactive interventions. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
NTA Channel 12 News continues shortly after this timeout. Please stay.
Plastics. Customers' needs are our priority. We give you all the attention you need. With us, our customers are king. Located at Kilometer 40, Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, Ijoko, Ogun State. Solar Plastics Limited. We are just a phone call away. Contact us through 080-2783-5332. You can reach us through any of our lines and social media handles. Solar Plastics Limited. Come, let us treat you like a king.
We thank you for being there. 3 kingpins and 16 other offenders have been convicted and sentenced to a total of 302 years in prison for trafficking and dealing in illicit drugs such as cocaine, heroin, cannabis, and opioids following their arrest and diligent prosecution by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The 19 convicts topped the list of 414 drug traffickers and dealers convicted by the Federal High Courts in Benue, Bauchi, Edo, Lagos, Ogun, Gombe, and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, between 1st July to 31st of July 2024, based on charges filed against them by the Anti-Narcotics Agency. Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, comments judiciary says imprisonment will strengthen the deterrent effect on NDLEA's drug supply reduction and its efforts. And on that note, that we wrap up the news for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Access Holdings, we are heading into the next phase of our evolution, and with our rights issue, you get an increased stake in it. From the 8th of July to the 14th of August, you can get your share of over 17 billion shares at 19.75 naira per share. That's one new ordinary share to every 2 shares held. Visit theaccesscorporation.com to subscribe. Access Holdings, where financial solutions connect the world.
Sona Maltings Limited presents glucose syrup. Glucose syrup extracted from locally sourced sorghum and corn into a liquefied sugar of natural origin. Sona Maltings glucose syrup is gluten-free and tastes yummy. That's why it is the most sought-after glucose syrup by commercial food production companies as a sweetener, thickener, and moisture-retaining agent. As it doesn't crystallize, it is used in production of candy, beer, fondant, and certain canned food, and pre-made baked goods like biscuit and cookies. Sona Maltings glucose syrup is made by Sona Maltings Limited. Sona Maltings glucose syrup, king in liquefied sugar.
We are thrilled to have you on board as we chart the course for our next chapter. We're inviting you to take up your rights in full for 19 naira 75 kobo per share. From the 8th of July to 14th of August, take advantage of the chance to acquire one more ordinary share for every 2 shares in your portfolio. Visit www.theaccesscorporation.com to subscribe. Access Holdings, where financial solutions connect the world.